Again. It's getting late, so I'm going to be a little quieter so I don't bother my neighbors in this apartment complex. Um, I would like to talk a little bit about my transition between being um, an evolutionist to being a young Earth creationist, and then back again to an old Earth creationist, and then something more holistic, I guess. Um, yeah, so I grew up sort of in the church, a little bit here and there. I'd go to church, but mostly I was free to believe whatever I wanted, and I loved science documentaries, and so I just like gobbled up everything I saw on like Discovery Channel, Science Channel, and like Deadliest Catch hadn't existed yet, the TV show with all the crabs, and so like that was like the beginning of the downturn of like science TV. It turned into like reality TV with just like gold rush things and like pawn shop people, and I don't know, it just got weird. So I had like the golden days of like documentaries because they were experimenting with like a lot of new computer animation, and so like you could get really cool physics representations, but it hadn't descended into like the consumerist thing that we started to see by like 2010. Um, and so like I grew up in like a really purist kind of experience with like a lot of really good documentaries on TV all the time. They were usually new, and like Crocodile Hunter and Jeff Cohen, and like there was a bunch of stuff on the Science Channel, Discovery Channel about like space, and evolution. It was like BBC's Walking with Dinosaurs, and Walking with Beasts, and Walking with what they called it, monsters, the Paleozoic animals before the dinosaurs. So there's just like a lot of really good documentaries, and then everything else that was like derivative about dinosaurs. Like there were so many documentaries about like American dinosaurs and stuff that came out of like the BBC animation studios. So I grew up with like a lot of exposure to like the Big Bang and like evolutionary theory and like how it all worked, and like I bought it. I mean, believe science. Like I'm gonna believe the mainstream scientific opinion. Um, there's good reasons for it. I'm studying it. You know, they're scientists. Like they're the experts. Um, I tried to balance out my perspective a little bit because my mom is very religious, and she believes in young Earth, and like her evidence was really weak. Like even as like a third grader or fourth grader, like my mom would like show me a picture of like a human footprint, like a dinosaur footprint, and because they were like fossilized together, like it must mean that humans and dinosaurs lived at the same time. And like I would immediately come back and be like, Mom, like the dinosaur made a footprint in the mud, and then it solidified for millions of years, and then it rained again. And then the human was like, oh look, this is fun. I'm gonna put my foot in the dinosaur foot. Like I wonder what this was. And then that got solidified. Like it's a coincidence because like if you're a human and you see a big footprint, of course you're gonna want to jump in it. We do that with you see little kids doing that like on the beach. Um, so there's just like not a lot of good evidence that she had shown me, and I tried to like split the difference and like make her happy, and I was like, I don't believe in evolution, I believe in adaptation. And I basically just picked the politically correct opinion when I was like in fourth grade, just because fifth grade, because I wanted to make my mom happy, but like it wasn't really what I thought. And then I thought it was really just silly to believe in a young Earth or like Noah's flood or whatnot. Um, I got into high school, kind of became a Christian, kind of like started to go into that world in like a really deep, kind of transformative way. You can check out my videos on like kind of testimony, Christian testimony. I made my own version of that. Kind of the full story. And um, the that time in my life when I was like a fresh Christian, I was like, okay, what am I going to do about Genesis, right? Like, do I believe this literally? What do I think about? In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Like, how do I take that? And so I didn't really believe it. I had to kind of put my faith at risk for a bit, but then like a couple of young Earth creationist people came to my church. Uh, what are their names? Um, One of them was Ken Ham. There's another guy came first actually. It'll come to me. But the first guy, he was not Ken Ham, but the first guy that came in, I can't remember his name. He was a USGS geologist at Mount St. Helens, and when it blew up, they did carbon dating and isotope dating on the rocks. And it said they were like millions of years old, even though they were like 3 days old. And he was flabbergasted. And then he decided to verify it. So he tested rocks from around the world that he knew was fresh, and he did a lot of different isotopes to see the decay rate. And he was coming back with their estimates were all wrong. And he was like an atheist and really hardcore, and he was like 50, and he would like make fun of Christians and stuff. And like he said that he would throw rocks at them from like baptisms at like Laguna Beach or whatever. And that was kind of like really convincing, because then he started to talk about like evidence about like young Earth, and so he was pointing out that really, well, for one, he makes a really good opinion that science that we can't test in the present is an extrapolation, it's interpretation. It's not real like knowledge. It's interpretive. It's speculative. And so to take scientists' view as like the norm is really not true to knowledge. And science is really about knowledge. And so that was a real hole in my mind, in my psyche, because I realized that I'd been taking scientists face value. I wasn't actually questioning what their evidence was, and like the evidence is before us, right, with fossils and stuff. But like, it's very hard to observe evolution on a long time scale. Doesn't mean it's false. It just means that it's interpretation. And the creationists' opinion, the young Earth creationist opinion, is that's not enough, right? Like it's not. There's no evidence of evolution. You can't observe the process. Therefore, we only can conclude that there's microevolution. So like adaptation within like small family groups. So like finches can all evolve into other finch species on like the Galapagos Islands, or like dog breeds can be bred apart. Like they're still genetically similar, very similar. They're not really speciated, but because they can all breed with each other. But like, bunny rabbits can speciate, cows can speciate, sheep and goats can speciate. Like, but you can't get like an artiodactyl, like hooved animal, cloven hooved animal, like to evolve into like a whale. So I was like, oh, there's no evidence for it. Like, why should I believe it? And then they pointed out, like, it's pretty damn obvious that like every fossil is buried in a water event, because its fossilization pretty much requires like a rapid deposition of sand to mummify the body and then compress it without decomposition. And so like almost every fossil we have is like from a catastrophic water event, or like a landslide or something with sand. And I was like, holy crap, like that makes sense that there was a global flood. And there's a lot of other things that you can kind of piece together, like the genetic entropy rate. If Adam and Eve were perfect humans and they lived for like like super long, like 900 years or whatever, you can plot the ages of the people in the Bible, and like you get like a curve, like a decline curve that's kind of consistent with like the mutation rate. And like that was really compelling. Like there's a whole load of interpretation that puts the dots together in a young Earth boy that seems very consistent, almost as good as the evolutionists view. And I'm an intelligent person. Maybe you don't know. I'm going to start there.